Good morning. Happy Jamhuri Day. We're glad you are still with us. This is our coverage of the celebrations taking place here in Nairobi at the Nyayo National Stadium. We're also linking up with our reporters across the country to take a look at how the celebrations or the day will be marked across the country. We're asking you what Kenya at 55 means to you on Twitter and on SMS. Our SMS number this morning, 22422. Let me read some of your text messages. Patel from Kitengela says, it's on a somber note. I realize we are now more dependent than ever, from a staggering debt to the mercy of the corrupt who steal astronomical amounts of money. May God deliver our Kenya from these dark days. Collins Odwar on Twitter says, Jamhuri Day is a great event to me and Kenyans at large, especially when we commemorate the great struggle. You call yourself Trendy Teacher on Twitter. You say old men with zero responsibilities being given jobs, while youth with many responsibilities not being given jobs in the name of Vijana Wataiba Pesa. Isaac Muthusi says the strength of a nation lies in the minds of its people. Happy Independence Day. Let me take a look at one more SMS. Here, I feel so happy to be Kenyan, to be part of the state choir and the changes in governance that our brave young president is bringing. Real and true unity for all Kenyans is forthcoming. Let God help Uhuru and Raila save Kenya from, I guess you mean wolves? Okay. So that's what you think. Continue to share your views with us. Dr. Alex Awiti Irungu Houghton still with me. So can we talk about the citations for a moment? Well, not the citations, but the awards. And we'll be revealing those to our viewers in just a moment. This was gazetted on the 10th of December. You know, following the controversy in previous years, do we reward the Kenyans that, you know, are the Shujas today and that, you know, represent the Kenyan spirit?
Even in my view, this is now a pattern of behavior that I think diminishes the sacrifice and service of the men and women who brought us to these celebrations today. I think what we need to think about is the symbolism of juxtaposing the naming of these individuals, whatever we think is their service and contribution to the country, and this solemn day of celebrating our independence. I think anybody who does this list should actually really think hard about what this really means, because there are a lot of people whose names make it to this list that Kenyans actually believe are dishonorable. And sometimes we play to very petty partisan considerations, and sometimes even just personal favors that you give to friends. I don't think that something as solemn as an award, a recognition by your country, should be something that we take lightly. And therefore, when the list is then put out there, we see the names and we rubbish the individuals the next day. It pains me that Kenyans get to that point where they'll start scrutinizing these names and start trolling all of their bad past. It's embarrassing. So anybody who has the privilege and the opportunity to put together this list should actually really think hard about what they do, because I take it very seriously that you get named by your country and singled out and honored for service. It has to be real.
But on the flip side, it is possible that a number of the individuals on this list have done something you know, that puts them there. But like we were saying during the break, Irungu, we don't know because we don't have citations. So tell us more about that and the law that surrounds this that should actually be enacted by now.
So there is an act, the National Honours Act, that is partially operationalized. It's not completely operationalized, but it essentially says that a number of honorary, honorary advisory committees will be set up at the level of the county governments, at the level of the ministries, at the level of the national government. And essentially that the citation should be on the basis of kind of four things. One is you have sacrificed, you are brave, you have exhibited, demonstrated excellence in an area. And it can be academics, it can be sports, it can be any area of our lives. But most importantly, you have honored the Republic. And I think that is the power of a commendation and a state commendation. What I find so baffling is why you reduce this to a list that is just simply circulated without citations. Right? Now, this is no disrespect to any of the people who have been cited on Human Rights Day this week. But I think until we know why they were cited, their names have no power for the rest of the country. There is no child that can look at that list and say, if I do this, I will one day be recognized. There is no power in, dropping a list and all these titles.
Yeah.
In fact, in some ways, it seems to be a bit like a graduation certificate.
Yeah.
That every year, the governors get one more, and the ministers get one more, and the PSs get one more, and officers get, one more. And I think that's the thing that worries me most about this, that you are actually taking something that is sacred, that is really authentic and powerful, and reducing it simply to a list.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that Alex has raised, which I think is an important point, is what happens when you are cited or you receive the commendation and you dishonor the Republic. Right? So if we have a number of people, not necessarily on this list, but a number of people on the list who are going through economic crimes cases at the moment. Some have been convicted, others are going through murder charges, and I think the key thing for me is to ask the country, to ask the question: do we dishonor people, who have dishonored themselves? Do we remove their honorary commendations? Amnesty, we had this very difficult decision this year. So Aung Suu Kyi, who we've held up as a human rights advocate in the case of Burma, now Myanmar, we waited for her to bring some sanity to the forced evictions and the violence that we've seen on the Rohingya. Something like about 600,000 people have had to flee their homes. And we finally said no, that we will strip you of the Amnesty International Ambassador of Conscience. And that will demonstrate to people that once you are given a commendation, you have a responsibility to protect human rights and bring honor to that name. And if not, we will strip you.
All right. We see the Deputy President, Honorable William Ruto, now arriving, and in fact that should answer the question of Samo Nandi from Teren. You are asking, will the Deputy President, you are Kibeti from Teren, Samo. You are asking whether the Deputy President will attend. Well, there he is, making his way there. The celebrations had begun a little bit before. There was some entertainment, and there he is with his wife, the Honorable Rachel Ruto, now making their way, which is an indication that the head of state should be there any time now for the program to begin proper at about 12 minutes after 10 o'clock right now. This is what is happening at the Nyayo Stadium, the Nyayo Stadium. I was about to say the roundabout. And you can see, of course, Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i and a number of others who are there. So set to begin anytime right now, even as we continue to talk about what this day means for a lot of us in the country, how to foster that sense of patriotism, of ownership, of taking this country forward. So Deputy President arriving there, it's set to be a day that will then go on for the celebrations that then go on at State House, which is where all of those who've been awarded will then be given their awards today. Like we're saying, perhaps a citation would be something that would be important to enable Kenyans to fully appreciate why these individuals have been selected. So you can see there him being given the honors, everybody in that podium rising up to meet and greet the Deputy President William Ruto as he arrives there for the celebrations. The President scheduled to make his arrival any moment now.